Hello, this is Bern, and if you have ever struggled with feeling your most confident and looking your best, if you have ever wanted to lose unwanted pounds and have been unable to do so, you're in for a real treat because backed by popular demand, I'm bringing my health coach and business partner, Giordana Toccaceli, who's going to be sharing with you a method she discovered titled The Art of Feminine Weight Loss. So stick around, this is something you don't want to miss. Hello and welcome to another edition of Get the Love You Crave. Today I have a very special guest. I have Giordana Toccaceli, who has been not just my business partner and friend, but also my coach. And she's going to be sharing with us amazing discoveries that she's been able to tap into in terms of connecting with your own self and connecting to the most powerful body that you could ever create. And I'm just so happy to have you here, Gio. I'm really, really happy to connect with you.
Thank you for having me, Bern. I'm so excited to be here and to share this topic with such a important topic with your list of women.
Thank you. Well, my first question for you is, what got you interested in this area of not just health, but actually connecting to your body in such a way that it's a deeper expression of who you really are inside?
Well, I mean, I went through 6 years of illness, and I think we've talked about this before. And through that, I went through a whole series of challenges. My health had such an impact on my personality, on my well-being, on how I showed up for others, on how uplifted I felt naturally. It had an impact on my body and my body composition. And so I didn't want to feel out of control in my body anymore. Mm-hmm. I wanted to feel like I was actually aligned with my body and not at war with it.
Powerful. Why do you think nowadays, I mean, we've talked about this a few times, but why do you think nowadays that just like before losing weight had basically was the thing to do, now losing weight is like a bad thing? It's looked upon as a negative thing. Mm-hmm. Why do you think that is? I mean, I think that there's always a balance, right? There's always it's not neither a good or bad thing, but for some people, losing weight is kind of like a good thing. I mean, it's mm-hmm. connecting back to the balance that your body needs. But I want to hear from you. Why do you think?
Sure. I mean, I think it goes back to our sense of self-worth.
Uh-huh.
If we're losing weight in order to be approved and to be loved by others, then I think we're off base, right? But if we're losing weight because we love our body and because we want to feed it, we want to make it healthy, we want to make sure that we're nurturing it and not neglecting it, abandoning it, or trashing it. We want to make sure that our body is, not chronically inflamed or degenerating prematurely. So I think it really just depends on why you're doing it. And I also think it's actually okay to want to be your best self and want to bring out your beauty from the inside out. Uh-huh. I think that's an important feminine quality. And it's okay to want that.
It definitely is. And when I coach women, that one of the things that makes women feel incredibly confident is not just how they feel about themselves, but also kind of how their body shines out, aliveness. Exactly. And it doesn't have to be specific weight necessarily, although that sometimes matters, but it's how confident they are in their ability to let the inner part and the outer part be a match.
Exactly. And I think if as women, it's just really, we wear on the outside how much we take care of ourselves, how much we value ourselves. So that does not mean at all it has to be any sort of size. I believe any size can be beautiful. It's just regardless of what size you are you tending to your body? Are you taking care of it? Are you loving it?
So Gio, can you talk to me about what has inspired you in terms of clients that you work with to know that you're on the right track in terms of your calling? And here's what I mean. Doing coaching is not the easiest thing in the world, as you know. I mean, you have to reach someone's heart. You're someone who strikes me and who I know to be incredibly intuitive, where you actually, out of left field, come up with a question that I wasn't expecting, and boom, then tears down the road, basically a few minutes later, but you reach something that was unexpected and real. So when you've connected with clients who've had amazing results using this method that you've discovered, the Art of Feminine Movement, what have been things that have inspired you?
Hi, Bernie. I am so inspired to have women fall in love with themselves, body, mind, and soul. Uh-huh. When I see a woman and she carries a lot of shame and she carries a lot of confusion about who she is, she doesn't even think she has permission to want the things that she wants in life. Uh-huh. She's in denial about desires because she feels like she can't even have what she really wants.
It's almost like women today feel like they can't want to be beautiful. It's a bad thing to want to be beautiful, right? It's like shallow, and it's not.
Yeah, well, I think it's the way that we protect ourselves, right? We think, well, it's too hard to look like this pseudo perfect thing that, you know, we're being sold. And so I should just not care about it, when it really isn't that. It's who are you, and how can you be healthy and radiant and vibrant at a cellular level, at an emotional level, and at a mental level, for your own enjoyment and freedom of life. You know what I mean?
So when you connect with a woman
Yeah.
who actually creates this change, it's kind of fun, right? I mean, like,
yeah. So when I see a woman that comes to me and she's hiding, and she feels ashamed of who she is, and of course, as a coach, you would know it intuitively, right? Because you see those things that they might not see in themselves. When you see the roadblocks that are keeping them from the relationship and the intimacy that they really want, or from them just healing and expressing themselves as they really want to, or the confidence that you know is in there and you need to unearth. So when you can bring a lot of clarity and remove those obstacles in a way that makes them feel so safe, so understood, so loved, and also help demystify the overwhelm of information and say, listen, forget about all of that. Let's pay attention to what your body is telling us, and let's implement these habits 1 week at a time. And while we're doing this, let's get to the emotional core of what's driving you, of what you really want in your life, of how you're handling things, and just really nurture that woman into freedom, into embodying her best woman, right? That's why I named my company Embody Woman.
And what's another example of something that inspires you along these lines?
So again, I mean, to think of an example for this specific program, but a woman came to me after having tried everything to lose weight, and 3 months down the road, she had lost a ton of weight, was in her bathing suit, excited for summer, with beautiful skin, her hair was really shiny, and she just felt extremely confident with men. She had been unable to be vulnerable with men because she was doing the typical thing that we women fall into, where we're really harsh on the outside and set boundaries, and we rightly so had to do that. And then on the inside, we don't really have a strong sense of self. And so she developed a really strong sense of herself and became really inviting, feminine, and warm, and was just being swarmed by men left, right. And so to see that, it was extremely rewarding.
Which is a really cool thing, because instead of basically somebody coming to you and just basically saying, hey, help me lose the weight, you're helping them lose the weight as a result of being who they really are meant to be on this earth, right?
Exactly.
I mean, as a result of embodying life, as a result of connecting to the feminine energy, naturally the natural response is to shed off unwanted emotional and physical weight, right?
Exactly.
One of the reasons why I'm so excited to talk to you, and I've mentioned this to people in maybe a couple of interviews we've shared, but for those of you who haven't listened to, I want you to hear this. I connected with Gio as my health coach and aliveness coach, and she basically was doing a lot of work with me that was in terms of emotional work. We did a lot of emotional work. We did a lot of like actual eating specific habits. And one of the things that makes me most excited is that we weren't really planning on me losing weight. I lost 18 pounds that I didn't even know I had. I kind of like had the intuition, but I didn't even know as a result of working with you. So I guess A, I'm really excited and I know this absolutely works, but B, I want you to talk to me about right now, because you discovered a method, you created a method called the Art of Feminine Weight Loss, which has like 6 different parts. We don't have time to go through all 6 of them, but I want you to talk to me about maybe 2 or 3 of those tenets that make this such a different program, so that women that are listening to us right now can actually, if they want to lose weight right now, if they want to drop some of those, that can take the essence of that and either run on their own or connect with you if they want to do this with you at some point.
Yeah, well, to begin with, for example, the very first thing I address with my clients is the emotional root cause of what their relationship is like with their body. I get so many women that tell me, I just can't make this sustainable. I start, you know, I get up on a new diet, a new health plan, and eventually I go off of it.
Exactly. They may even lose weight, but they get it back, right?
And so many times that is because we are not, there's something else inside of us that needs to be unearthed. There's an emotional block. There's, you know, some deeper needs are not being met, and we actually lose hope that those deeper needs are going to be met. So remaining very clear to what we desire and the vision that we want is extremely important for us to want to keep habits in our life. So, you know, taking the time out to actually reconnect deeply to those desires, what those deepest needs are for a man, for affection, for love, for comfort, for security, and just kind of really bringing up those subconscious thoughts of worthiness, of, you know, the inner dialogue that we have running when we're with a partner, of feeling insecure, of not feeling good enough, of And if you just ignore that, if you just kind of live it day to day and you don't actually address it, then it just stays there driving you subconsciously.
It's one of the things that makes you use food as a way to numb the pain or as an addiction instead of something that fuels you.
Exactly.
You spoke about this, some other time about like 3 different qualities or 3 different reasons that food exists. And I thought it was really beautiful, but none of them were to be addicted. None of them were to like suppress pain, right?
Exactly. Even that, right? Just asking ourselves the question, what is the role of food in our life? And I believe that the food has 3 roles. Number 1, it has the role of nourishing our body so that our body can, regenerate for its daily wear and tear. It's our fuel source, so it heals us. It brings life force. Number 2, it's a source of communing with others, so it brings people together. It gathers people together. And the 3rd reason is it's an experience. It's one great experience about life. It brings us pleasure. It brings us an experience. We can be foodies. So all of those things are fundamental. But when food becomes your reward and punishment system in life, where it becomes your source of comfort, or when it takes the place of you going after passions and dreams, or and that's simply because we don't understand that our life requires organization. It requires us to take a high level look and look at all these parts of ourselves, our emotional life, our how we show up for partners, right? Are the different roles we fit, our relationship with our body. And when you take that time to look at all those different moving parts that make you up, and you set order to them, you give them love, you give them grace, you relate to them, then they don't end up driving you in a sort of chaos where, one day you're starting a diet, but you don't really know why you want to start a diet, or, okay, you need to lose weight, but you don't know that really you're feeling unworthy and insecure. So
you're saying basically you lose the connection to the why, and not only that, but you don't address the root cause. So that means if you do the actions, like most people do, they do exercise, they eat it differently, but it doesn't stick because they haven't addressed the real reason why they're eating more or why they're eating crap, right?
Exactly. And so you find that they're doing all these things without ever hitting those really deep needs that they have. And when we don't hit those deep needs, our body's going to subconsciously try to meet them through food, through addictions, through drugs, through mindlessness. So this is exactly what people do. They'll start up on a diet and they'll get really excited and they'll get momentum, and then something within them will want to check out, 2 or 3 weeks later, and they'll find themselves, eating lots of foods to meet that need for comfort, security, for connection, right?
Right. So I think this is incredibly interesting. And another aspect of your program that I thought was really, really powerful, you talked about it in terms of depriving yourself. You talked about like what you need to embrace in one of the steps. Can you talk to me about what this concept of embracing means? Because it's not just about the right food, it's about other things. What is it?
Yeah, again, here it's coming out of the system that we grew up in of punishment and reward. And what that means is as kids, we often weren't raised to think, I need to do this because it's good for me, but I need to do this because I'm either going to get in a lot of trouble if I don't do it, or, I'm going to get a piece of candy if I do. And so if we have a relationship of reward and punishment with our body, it feels almost normal to punish ourselves, deprivation and restriction for a short period of time, and then to reward ourselves with something else. And that punishment and reward system actually reflects itself in our relationships. When we punish and reward our husbands and we start developing that relationship with them, it goes into our work life, it goes into every other system. And so if we can learn a new way to do it, where we actually do it through love, we actually do it through self-agency, then it becomes so much more powerful and sustainable day by day.
And then I guess there's something else that you spoke about when we were talking about what this program is, which is you spoke about feminine movement. And I thought that was a different approach, something completely different from like getting up in the morning and doing your power moves or doing this. And can you tell me what that is? Because you mentioned the way you talk about feminine movement, not only is it exciting, but also it takes a lot less time than most people think. So what is feminine movement?
Well, feminine movement is the recognition that we as women are so connected to rhythm and sensuality. Our hormones are connected to daily and nocturnal rhythms. And so if you understand the times of day where you can actually rev up your metabolism with 10 to 12 minutes of exercise and actually get yourself burning fat all day without exercising in a way that pushes you into adrenal burnout, pushes you into other imbalances in your body, such as hormonal imbalances,
Yeah.
because you're doing something that's not really good for you. And so uncovering what movement is right for you and what's really going to connect you, right? Because movement is exercise, but it can also connect us to our emotions, and it can actually be very purifying. So designing a movement schedule that gives you those beautiful elongated muscles does give you incredibly improved body composition, helps you to shed that weight, but at the same time doesn't leave you extremely depleted or punished or, unable to get up for 3 days. So it's just kind of a different way of thinking about it. It's the art of feminine weight loss. Always, it's designed for women, right? And it's designed for women to reconnect to their feminine energy through the food they eat, through the movement that they have, and how to give a completely different perspective to their relationship with their body. Because I think you were talking about earlier how we're either taught to go on some sort of dietary punishment cycle of restriction to lose weight so that we can be hot for a man, or just accept yourself regardless of any size because you're worthy. And I don't think either one of those are truly honest or balanced.
Yes,
because
I agree with you.
Because if we just accept ourselves, if we accept the fact that we're neglecting and abandoning our body, that's not love.
Exactly. It's not. I mean, when you don't take the time to consciously realize, okay, I'm eating things that are not good for me, that my ancestors didn't eat because they didn't exist, because they're full of chemicals, and you realize how many people are getting sick. I mean, I think it's worthwhile for anyone to think about being more conscious about what they put in their system, and knowing that it is okay to want to look amazing. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's okay because health is always attractive, right? I mean, we are biologically attracted to health and longevity. And so I just think it's important to understand that I'd just like to add this thought, that if we've been very controlled, let's say we've been very controlled as women because culture has appropriated our physiques and demanded that we look a certain way in order to be attractive and worthy. Then, if a kid is very controlled by their parents, then they're going to want to rebel and want to be completely free and have no responsibility, right? And they're going to think this is freedom. But what you really want to come to is a place of balance where you learn to parent yourself and you're also feeling very free within yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. So I want to talk about your latest offering, the Art of Feminine Movement, and you have 4 spots. You launched this, I think, last week, and you have, I think, 16 people already in your program.
Yes.
And you have 4 more spots available for women who want to get this right in a way that's wholesome, that's not depriving, that is unique to them being feminine. And what you're offering right now is 4 spots, not just for your program, but also to connect with you one-on-one on a free embodying the Art of Feminine Movement clarity call. And can you tell me right now, for anyone who's listening who wants to apply for this call to get 1 hour of your undivided attention and expertise, what will they get out of this one call with you?
Okay, well, to just give that a little bit of context, the 16 women that have come on board are amazing, Bern. I mean, they're from all over the world, and they're women that really understand that to be their best selves, they need to look at all those areas of their life that I was talking about and really bring love and support, freedom and responsibility. And what it is just create that safe space for them to be who they are and to explore all these things and bring that order. So I would say that this call is for any woman who knows that, she's kind of put herself in the back burner. She doesn't quite know what to do in terms of where to start.
So confusing.
It is confusing. And she wants to do it in a way that's sustainable, not another super diet and crash thing. And she wants to really nurture her soul, really bring peace to her soul, really solidify her confidence with herself, who she is in her work and with men, and she wants to really connect to her feminine energy. So that's who this is for. And so I would say what this call is going to do with you is going to give you a huge amount of clarity around what's going on in your mind and in your body, what's kind of been weighing you down, and where you would really like to be 2 to 3 to 6 months down the road, and how to make that possible, and also what's holding you back. So it's just a great space for your heart to be heard, for your desires to be spoken out, and for you to really just evaluate where you're at and evaluate the support that you need to get there.
Perfect. So for anyone who's interested, there's a link below this video where all you have to do is click on that link, apply for a clarity call. If they want to get a hold of you besides this clarity call, they want to check your website. What is your website?
My website is embodywoman.com. So that would be www.embodywoman.com.
Thank you so much for, as always, sharing your heart, your inspiration, and for doing the work that you do. I think it's much needed in the world. Thank you, Gio.
Thank you so much for having me, Brent. Big hug.